Today's question is, I've seen a lot of talk on TikTok about toxic bonds. Can you explain what a toxic bond is? A toxic bond is an unhealthy connection between two or more people in a relationship that can lead to emotional distress, harm, or dysfunction. Now, these relationships almost always involve patterns of control, manipulation, and power imbalance, which makes it incredibly difficult for those involved in them to break free. So, in a toxic bond, emotions can be quite intense, often swinging between love, hate, and jealousy. Now, while strong emotions are normal in any relationship, of course, in a toxic bond, these emotions become draining and exhausting, making it incredibly difficult for individuals to find stability and peace within the relationship. Now, one of the main characteristics of toxic bonds is the presence of control and manipulation. One person may try to exert control over the other through subtle or even overt tactics, such as using guilt, blame, or gaslighting. And this can make the other person feel quite powerless or confused about the reality of the situation. Toxic bonds also tend to have an unequal distribution of power, with one person dominating the relationship. And this imbalance can create a cycle of dependence and submission, making it, well, I suppose, making it very challenging for the individuals involved to assert themselves and break free. Another key aspect of toxic bond is unhealthy boundaries. So when boundaries are blurred or non-existent, one person may invade the other's privacy, and they may demand excessive amounts of attention or fail to respect the other partner's limits, and this leads to emotional distress and harm as well. A lack of trust is also common, which can cause constant suspicion, jealousy, and insecurity. I mean, trust is a key component in any healthy relationship, isn't it? But when it's missing, the relationship can become increasingly unstable and difficult, if not impossible, to maintain. So, toxic bonds are characterized by negativity, criticism, and frequent arguments, and this unhealthy dynamic can make it almost impossible for both parties within the relationship to thrive. And believe it or not, actually recognizing a toxic bond can be quite challenging. But it's important to trust your instincts and be aware of red flags if you notice them. Too many people dismiss red flags in a toxic relationship simply because the toxic bond or the toxic relationship has become their new normal. So they don't see the red flags for what they are. So if you do see red flags in a relationship that you're in, act on them and get the hell out of there. So that's what a toxic bond is. What a toxic bond is not, though, is you having fights with your partner. And you see that on TikTok as well. Just because you have a fight with your partner doesn't necessarily mean that you're in a toxic relationship or you've had a toxic bond. Fights in relationships are perfectly normal until they get out of hand. And by the way, I've started a second TikTok channel which is dedicated solely to consumer behavior and consumer psychology. So if you're interested in consumer psychology, go follow me on that one as well. I've linked it in the description. It's the same channel name, Dr. Paul Psychology, with the number 2 beside it. All right, that's it. Anyway, that's what a toxic bond is.